Okay, so today I will discuss important point uh, that is known as lookup table programming. Am I audible to all? સંભળાય છે બધાને?
Yes, sir.
અને સ્લાઇડ પણ દેખાય છે ને?
Sir.
Okay, fine. So today I will discuss very important concept lookup table programming. So I will initially talk in English and then I will also repeat that in Gujarati because this topic is very important and all of you should understand this. But I think now you are in SEM 4, so you should not find any difficulty in understanding in English because after passing your BE Electronics and Communication, you will be going out state mostly, Hyderabad, Bangalore, or Pune. So uh, if you can communicate in English, it will be very easy for you because most of our students are there. Because if you need uh, if you are ready to go out, that means in Bangalore, Pune, Hyderabad, somewhere, you will be getting more salary there because the opportunities of electronics and communications are very good there, right? So that's why normally we insist in English, but somewhere whenever you find any difficulties, please ask in between that, sir, please repeat this in Gujarati. I do not have any problem in explaining the basic concepts in Gujarati. Mostly, I will continue my speech in English, but as and when and some request will come from you, I will switch over to Gujarati. Not an issue, right? So, LPM is the instruction today we will be discussing. So LPM is actually load from program memory. So if you want to read some data from the program memory, then LPM instruction is useful. Now it accept two argument here. In case of assembly language, we call operands. Normally in C language, we call it as an argument. Z is actually a memory location from where we want to transfer the data to specified register. So here RD can be any register. You can use any value of registers here, but you should not use the pair which is utilized for Z here, because you know that we have in AVR different registers R0, R1, R2, R3, R4, R5 up to R31. But if you look at last 6 registers are XYZ register. So R30 and R31 are Z register basically. So when you combine R30 and R31, it is becoming Z register. So you should not use this R31 and R30 here at this point, because otherwise it will be overwritten. Your Z will be overwritten. So any register from R0 to R29 you can use here as an RD. And so whatever the data available at the memory location specified by this Z register will be transferred to this register. So ultimately this instruction will be very much useful to load from program memory pointed by memory pointer Z. So you can there are different versions of this instruction. If you simply write LPM, then by default your intention is to transfer data from program memory to register R0. That is your intention. And in that case, by default, Z will be taken as memory pointer. You can also write this instruction in this way, LPM RD, Z. So in this case, it will transfer the data from program memory specified by register by RD. So whatever the register you specify here, R0, R1, R2, R3, at that register the data will be written from the program memory pointed by this memory pointer Z, and from that program memory data will be taken and it will be transferred to the register RD. Then another version of this instruction is LPM RD, Z plus. This is actually a very nice version in which after transferring the data, memory pointer will be automatically incremented. That means if your Z was, let's say, initially 0x400, this is the memory location specified by Z. So from this memory, it will read the data, it will transfer to RD, and then after this memory pointer will be incremented automatically. So next time it will automatically, it becomes 0x4001. Once you execute it again, it will become 4002. So it is kind of a auto increment. Automatically memory pointer will be incremented after every reading. So that's actually beauty of this instruction, right? So if you want to read memory one by one sequentially, then this instruction is much better compared to this. So I hope there should not be any difficulty in understanding this instruction. Now let's look at some examples so that these things will be very much clear to you. This is useful for a lookup table program. So first of all, let us understand what is lookup table. Have you used a lookup table anywhere during your school education? Can anyone tell me? Somewhere you have utilized the lookup table? I don't know whether you have used log tables during the examinations. Log table or a sine table, cosine tables, something you have used during your examinations? I don't know whether still it is there in your school education syllabus or not.
Yes, sir.
You have used it, right? Suppose if you want to compute sine 25 and you don't have a scientific calculator with you, so normally what you will do, you will refer the lookup table, and from that you will find out the values. Similarly, if you want to calculate log of some value, let's say log of 3, and you don't have any scientific calculator, but you have a log table with you, you can refer the log table and find out the value of log 3 from there. So in a similar way, our AVR actually do not have many capabilities. Like our AVR do not have any instructions to calculate sine theta or cos theta, or some arbitrary value, non-linear values we want to calculate. Then in that case, lookup table is very much useful. I will discuss here a very simple example in which we will find out the square of the given number. Consider that we don't calculate the square by multiplying two values together. Let's say that we use a lookup table to find out the square of given value. So in this case, let's say our intention is to find out the square of this number 5, and this 5 is loaded to R16. Now these are the two instructions by which we load the memory pointer. So here we are loading this memory pointer Z by the memory location specified by label called SQRTBL. SQRTBL is the address. So this is the address where lookup table is stored. And if you look at .db is nothing but a defined byte. So here we have stored different value like 0, 1, 4, 9, 16, 25, 36, 49, 64, 81, 100 and so on. Now looking at the value, it is very much clear to you now that this 0 is a square of 0, 1 is a square of 1, this 4 is a square of 2, 9 is a square of 3, 16 is a square of 4, this is a square of 5, square of 6, square of 7, square of 68, square of 9 and square of 10 and so on. So all these square values are stored sequentially in this lookup table. And we don't want to calculate it in this way. Suppose I want to calculate x square, I will not calculate in this way, x into x. But what I will do, I will find out this value of this x square from the lookup table. So in this case, we want to compute 5 square. But to compute 5 square, what we will do, we will not do 5 into 5. we will use lookup table to find out this 5 square. So 5 is transferred to R16. Memory location is pointed by Z. Then we will add this R16 to ZL. So initially our memory pointer is pointing to the first data, that is 0. Now we are adding this R16 to this pointer. So we are adding 5 here. So what we will do here? We will add this 5 here. So our pointer will be incremented up to this 25 because 5 times we are incrementing this. So let me make it more clear. I will show you the, let me make it more clear by giving some example. Let me open this whiteboard. Okay. Now, in a square table which we have seen, is, let's say, starting from memory location 4000. So at 4000 location we have written 0. At 4001 we have written 1. 4002 location we have written 4. 4003 location we have written 9. 4004 location where we have written 16. 4005 we have written 25. 4006 we have written 36. 4007 we have written 49 and so on. So as you can see here, we are storing these square numbers sequentially here. And this is our initial location specified by register Z. So whenever we are adding Z plus R16, ultimately what we are doing, Z plus 5. Our value of Z was 4000. In that we are adding 5, so it has become 4005. So now it is pointing to this location. And at this location, the square of number 5 is already available. That is what is done in a program. Let me go back to that. So in this case, as you can see here, so at this location, our Z is pointing to the location 4005. And at that location, the data 25 is there because at this point actually the data is 25. So this location is 4000, this is 4001, 4002, 4003, 4004 and this is 4005. So from this location it will take the data and it will transfer to R18. So R18 will have 25. So our target was find the square of a number stored in register R16 and place result into R18. Numbers is stored in R16 is less than 16. That is actually given. So this is a very simple lookup table. Suppose if you want to compute lookup table of 6, then instead of 5 I will write here 6. If I want to find out lookup table of 16, then I can write, let's say R16. Let me say that I want to find out lookup table of number 10. I can write here either 0x0a, or other way is I can write LDR R16, 10 decimal value directly. So whatever the number you want to find out the square of the number, immediately that number you will transfer to the 16 and then the square will be available in register R18 with help of this program. So this is very simple program to demonstrate the use of lookup table. Let's understand one more example. This is actually a dip switch connected to PC0 to PC3 port. Read dip switch, and according to the content of dip switch, it will find out the square of given number, that number, and it will display it on port D. So initially we will declare this PC0 to PC3 as an input. So for that actually LDI R16, 0x F0. That is the instruction, because F0 means 1111000. So this means these 3 pins will be utilized as an input, and these 4 pins are utilized as input, PC0 to PC3. PC4 to PC7 will be utilized as an output pins for a port C. Then out DDRC R16. So basically it will define the direction of port C pins. Then LDI R16, 0xFF. Here we are making FF, that means all one, because we want entire port D as an output port. So FF is transferred to R16, R16 is transferred to DDRD. So DDRD is a data direction register for port D. Right. After that initialization, again what we will do, we will load the Z pointer with a square table, SQRTBL. What we will do, we will read the port C and we will transfer the content to the R16. So in R16 the port C content will be available. Then we will perform the masking with help of a AND I. So yesterday I discussed this instruction, AND logical operation with immediate value. Why this is required? Because our data is already there in PC0 to PC3. We do not have any data from PC4 to PC7. So that's why we are masking that upper nibble. That means all the bits corresponding to PC4 and PC7 we are masking with a 0, and lower bits we are keeping as it is. So that's why this masking process is very important. Then this R16 is now containing the position of port C that we are transferring to ZL. Now our program is very much similar to previous one. That Z we are transferring to R18. So R18 is essentially consisting of square of given numbers, and that R18 we are transferring to port D. So basically we are displaying the square value to the port D port. And then again we will read the port C continuously. So continuously what this program will do, it will read port C, it will compute the square of that number, and it will display the square of that number to port D. Okay. Any difficulty in this program? Please, if you have any difficulty in understanding this program, tell me so that I will explain it again. Is it clear? If it is clear, just tell me yes so that I can go ahead.
Yes, sir.
Please. Yes, it is clear, no? Okay, fine. So I will go ahead. Now I will take another program. Another program is that interface the deep switch at port C, that is PC0 to PC3. So 4 port pins are there and 4 switches are there. What we want to do, we want to read the status of switches and display its hexadecimal number on a 7-segment display. Common anode 7-segment display is connected at port D. So this is actually our target. I will explain that using a whiteboard so that it becomes very much clear to you. Let's say we have a AVR microcontroller here, and we have some 7-segment display available here. And that segment is having a different 7-segment. All of you know that it is having LEDs placed in this way so that all the numbers can be displayed on the 7-segment. and numbers are like this, you know, this is segment A, this is B, this is C, this is D, E, F, G, and this is dot point. And let's say that our connections are like these. It is connected with port D. So total 8 pins will be connected. 8 pins of port D will be connected with 7 segment display. So this is I can say that this is a PD0, then PD1, and so on up to PD7. So these are the different port pins, 8 port pins of port D, which are connected to this 7 segment display. It is a common anode 7 segment display, so common point is connected to plus 5 volt. This common anode display means it is something like this. Internally it is in this way. We have LEDs connected so that, you know, all the anodes are tied together. So I will put dot 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 here and then last segment in this way. So these are the different LEDs. So this LED is corresponding to segment A, this is corresponding to B, this is corresponding to C, D, E, F, G, and again dot point. So there are total 8 LEDs are connected, and 8 LEDs are arranged in this way. Typically this resistance will be 1K or 470 ohm. So you can use any value here. If you use 470 ohm, typically, you know, display intensity will be more. 1K's display intensity will be somewhat less, but the life of 7 segment will be more in that case. So our intention is to display 0, 1, 2, 3 depending on the position of dip switch available here. So we have a dip switch connected in this way. So we have a switch is here. This is one switch. This is a second switch. This is a third switch, and let me connect fourth switch here. This is fourth switch, and these switches are connected to port C. So consider that PC0 is there, PC1 is there, PC2 is there, PC3 is there. Here I have PC3, PC2, PC1 and PC0. So now what I want is that if my position is here 0, 0, 0, that means when all the switches are on, the ground will be extended to the port pins, and these resistors are connected to again plus 5 volt. So when all the switches are on, then the content on this PC0, PC1, PC2, PC3 will be 0, because 0 will be extended to that port pins. So at that time what I want here on port D, my 7 segment is connected, so my 7 segment should display 0. If this is a 0, 0, 0, 1, that means if PC0 is off, the pin corresponding to PC0 is off, that means let me call this as a switch 0, switch 1, switch 2, and this is a switch 3. So this PC3 is corresponding to switch 3, PC0 is corresponding to switch 0, this is corresponding to switch 1, and this is corresponding to switch 2. So if this is 1, then I want to display 1. If this is 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, I want to display here 2. If it is 0, 0, 1, 1, I want to display here 3, and so on. So ultimately, to display 0 on this 7 segment display, what I require on this, what signals I require here on this port D pin. So that signals I will write it here. Okay. So I will write it in this way, PD7, PD6, PD5, PD4, PD3, PD2, PD1 and PD0. So now, in order to turn on the 0 here, what A, B, C, D, E, F, this all segments should light up. So all the LEDs corresponding to this should be on, only G should be off. And as this is a common anode, as you can see the connection here, in a common anode is connected to plus 5 volt and cathode is connected to port pins. So here this A is connected to PD0, this B is connected to PD1, this is connected to PD2 and so on up to PD7. So that means my PD0 is connected to A. So this is corresponding to my segment A. This is B, this is C, this is D, E, F, G and dot point. So only G and dot point should be off, all other segments should be on, right? So the segment which are off, I will put 1. Right, because G is connected to PD7, sorry, dot point is connected to PD7 and G is connected to PD6. So both are 1 and remaining all segments I want to turn on. So remaining all will become 0, 0, 0. So code becomes, to display 0 on the 7 segment display, our code becomes 11000000. So our code is actually 0xC0. Hexadecimal code is 0xC0. Similarly, if I want to display 1 here, then only B and C will be on, remaining all will be off. So B and C is on, that means I have to transfer 0 there, because whenever I am transferring 0 here, that corresponding LED will become on. If I transfer 1, corresponding LED will become off, because it is in a common anode format. If I transfer 0, then only current will flow through the LED and LED will glow and that corresponding segment will be on. If I transfer here 1, then potential on both the side is plus 5 volt, no current will flow, so LED will remain off, the corresponding segment will be off. So B and C only I want to turn on. That means on B and C, simply I have to transfer 0. All other segments will be 1. Like this. So in that case, my code becomes 0x F9. Right. So now I request all of you take your paper and pen, your notebook and pen, and try to find out code for all these 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, up 9. You can go up to F. Right. So this code you have to find out. So whenever this switch is pressed, switch 0 is pressed, so whenever in this switch arrangement, I will explain you again. Whenever you press the switch, corresponding pin will become 0, and when you do not press the switch, corresponding pin will become 1, because plus 5 will be otherwise given. If you press the switch, ground will be extended to that port pin. So consider that initially all the switches are on, then you will get 0, 0, 0, 0 combination. You have to display 0 there. So whenever all the switches are on, you have to transfer code C0 to the 7 segment display. Whenever switch 0 is off, at that time this combination 0, 0, 0, 1 is there, you have to transfer F9 to the 7 segment display. So now you have to prepare all this code corresponding to all the numbers, and then you have to save these into lookup table. In previous example, we have seen that we were storing square of number in the lookup table. But for this problem, what you have to do, you have to save 7 segment codes in the lookup table. Then you have to fetch the 7 segment code from the lookup table, and then you have to send it to the port D. That is the requirement. So for that purpose, I ask you again that you find out, you take paper and pen, find out code for all the combinations. I will wait here for a few minutes. You can do that. Then I will go ahead. The diagram is available here. You can refer this diagram to find out the codes. To help you again, I will help you to find out the code corresponding to 2. Let's say for 2, what we will do? Let me draw 2 here. For 2, actually this segment will be on, this will be on, this will be on, this will be on, and this will be on. That means A, B, G, E and D will be on. So corresponding to that segments, I will put 0. So A is on, so A will be 0. B is on, so B is 0. G is 0. Then E is on, so E is 0. D is also on, so D is 0. And remaining, only these 5 segments are on. Remaining segments are off. So remaining segments will become 1. So your code becomes 0xA4. This will be your code. So I will go back to this program again in a PPT. This is the exercise interface dip switch at port C. So we have connected the switches, 4 switches at PC0 to PC3. We have to write a program so that we can read the status of switches and display its hexadecimal number on the 7 segment display. Common anode segment displays connected at port D. So for this task, we have to find out the 7 segment code corresponding to all the switch combinations. 4 bits are there, so 16 possible combinations are there. 0, 0, 0, 0, so 0, 0, 0, 0, 1, so 1 up to 1, 1, 1, 1, so F. So 0 to F, 16 possibilities are there. So you can find out hexadecimal codes later on also. I have put all the codes here. As you can see in this program, I have placed all the codes here. Just you can verify. Later on you can find out the codes and verify with this. Okay. So here you can see 0xC0 is a code for number 0. 0xF9 is code for number 1. 0xA4 is for 2. This is for 3. This is for 4. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. A, B, C, D, E, F, right, and then at last 0, 0. So these are the 7 segment codes which are stored in a lookup table. So this is a very good utilization of lookup table. So whatever the process I have given you here in a whiteboard, the same process you use to find out the lookup table. The same lookup table will be available here. You have to store that entire lookup table here. The procedure is same for 16 segment display also, right? So now let us understand this program. LDI R1600 out DDRC R16. these two instructions, all of you now very much clear that these two instructions are useful to declare port C as an input port, because where we have connected the switches is the input device, so you have to initialize port pin as an input pins. LDI R16, 0xFF, R16 we are transferring to DDRD. I have made some mistake here, I have written port B here, but it should be port D, right? This is wrong. Port D out as an output to display on a 7-segment display, because we have connected 7-segment display on port D, so for that purpose port D will be output port. These two instructions are again same, will be acting as a Z as a memory pointer, so we are defining memory pointer Z, and Z is pointing to this SS data, right? SS data is the address, it is pointing there because at this address our 7-segment codes are placed. Okay, we read these port C with help of this instruction in R16, port pin C, so it will read the status of push button switches or dip switches connected at port C. Only 4 bits we are using, so we are keeping 4 bit as it is, and remaining 4 bits we are making 0. So this process is called masking process, and that is done with help of a AND operation, AND immediately. This is very much similar to this instruction, AND I R16, 0x0F. I have only written that numbers in a binary so that you can understand it in better way. You can also write this in a hexadecimal way like this. Why we require masking? Because we are using only 4 pins. If we are using all 8 pins, then this masking is not required. Then we transfer this R16 to ZL, so that because we want to find out the 7-segment code corresponding to the number stored in R16. Then we will fetch the code from the lookup table using the instruction LPM, load from program memory. From which location? The location specified by memory pointer Z, and that is consisting of 7-segment code. It will be transferred to R17, and R17 finally we are transferring to port D, so that corresponding code will be sent to the port D where we have connected the 7-segment display, so the number will be displayed on the 7-segment display. So this is how this program is working. I will demonstrate this program in AVR Studio and Proteus. I will show you the same program is written here in AVR Studio. Is it visible to all of you, this program? Same program is written here.
Yes, sir.
Yes. So whatever the program was explained, the same program is written here. Only a slight change in port. Here I have utilized port B. In PPT it was port D, but no matter. Whatever the port you are using, corresponding connections you have to make. I will show you the Proteus diagram where everything is connected together. Okay. Is it visible, Proteus diagram?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. As you can see here, we have connected port C with dip switch. You can see that these 8 dip switches are there. Out of 8, we will be using only 4. Remaining 4 we will not utilize. PC0, PC1, PC2, PC3 are connected with dip switch. This is called DIP switch. This is normally available on a motherboard of any microcontroller board or a computer motherboard or any other board where you require settings. Then you will find the dip switches there. This is a common anode 7-segment display. Anode is connected to +5, and cathodes of this segment LEDs are connected with the port B here. In PPT I have demonstrated with help of a port D, but you can use any port. So here PB0 is connected to segment A, PB1 is connected to segment B, and so on. So PB0 to PB7 are connected with a 7-segment display. So if I simulate this program, I will make this initially off. As you can see that whenever I am making this off, corresponding PC0 is becoming red. So PC0 is becoming 1. So now combination is 0, 0, 0, 1. So that is our first combination which was shown here. So this is combination we are getting 0001, and corresponding hexadecimal code generated will be 0xF9, and that 0xF9 will be transferred to the 7 segment code. As you can see here, this is F9, this is F, and this is 1001, so this is 9. It is transferred to 7 segment display, and it 7 segment display is displaying 1 here. Is it clear? Is it visible to all of you?
Yes, sir.
Okay. What will happen if I make these again on and this off? Now it is displaying 2. And corresponding code here, as you can see here, 1010, that is A. 10100, so that is 4. So it is A4. A4 is the code. Let us verify with our code. You can see here 10100100. So it is A4 is code corresponding to 2, and the same code is also visible here. Right? The red means 1, blue means 0. So 1010. So that is A. 0100, so that is 4. So it is A4 is the code is available on the port B. The same code is transferred to 7 segment display, and 7 segment display displaying 2. If I make this switch also off, then this combination here will be 0011, so that is corresponding to 3. So 3 will be displayed on the 7 segment display. If I will make this both on and this only off, then my combination is here 0100, and at that time it is displaying 4. If I make again this switch off, my combination will be 0101, so it is displaying 5. If I reverse the thing, let me reverse the things, right? So it should display A, but it is not displaying A. That means there is some error in the 7 segment code, right? So we have to find out the code corresponding to this A. Now let us go back to this whiteboard and let us find out the code corresponding to A. What will be the code corresponding to A? Let us write it here. In A, actually the segment A will be on. Let me erase this, so I will draw it again so that it will be very much clear to you. Okay, let me make it complete. And to make A, what is required here? This segment on, this segment on, this should be on, this should be, oh sorry, it has completed the job. Okay, this should be on, this should be on, and this should be on. So that means my A, B, C, this is D, E, F, and G should be on. D and DP should be off. So D and DP, if I make 1, this should be 1, my D should be 1, and all others should be 0. So my code corresponding to A will become what? 0x88. That will be my code corresponding to A. Is it okay? Is it clear or not? And let us see what is there in the program. It is 88 or
Yes,
not.
sir.
In a program, this is code corresponding to 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. As you can see, instead of 8880 is written. That's why it's not displaying correctly, right? So I will make it 88. So this is corresponding to A, B, C, D, E, and F. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This was 8 actually. 8, 9, and A. So here there is a mistake, right? So code was wrong. So that's why it was not displaying the segment correctly. So to glow the segment correctly, you have to write the correct code here. So what was our code? It was 88. So we have to replace this by 88. Now our code is correct. Whenever we execute this program again, it should display the correct value. So this is A, B, this is for C, D, E and F. So let me run this program again, build this solution again. After building this solution, I have to run this Proteus also again. Okay, still it's not. Let me check whether the code is same or different. Okay. This 7 segment 6 dot hex. This is today's code, 24th March 2021. So this is latest code. I will open that and specify as a hex file for this project, and then we'll run it again. Now you can see it is displaying A here correctly. So previously this segment was not visible, now it is visible because our code was wrong. So if your code is wrong, then you will not get the better display. So this is the best example of lookup table, right? So this is a best example of this instruction also, LPM instruction, load from program memory. It's very much useful for the lookup table programs like this. Now, in our case, hardware was 7 segment display. There may be 16 segment display. The nature of program will remain same. Only, code will change. Suppose if you want to generate a sine wave, then also you have to put the hexadecimal code corresponding to the sine wave here. Instead of this 7 segment code, you will replace this code with a sine wave code. I will show you one website which will help you to find out the code corresponding to the sine wave. It's a sine lookup table generator, right? Let me show you the things. That in a sine wave, suppose if you decide that my number of points in a sine wave should be 32, maximum amplitude should be 8 bits, so 255, because FF is the largest value. And if you want to calculate the hexadecimal number, then you just submit, it will compute lookup table for you. So this is the entire lookup table. You can just copy and paste this table in your program, right? Sine wave I will explain you here separately. Let's say you have a sine wave like this. Okay, so this sine wave is, let's say we want to we have a different sample points here. Let's say we have a sample point, these are the different sample points. So this all sample points you have to store in a lookup table. What will be the highest value here? Maximum positive value and negative value. This is corresponding to. So now our 8-bit numbers are represented in this way. Zero, zero, zero. This is a 0. This is a 1. This is 2. So on in this, the highest number will be this will be positive. So 0. Highest would be this number. So this is known as a, in hexadecimal value, if you write it in this way, it is a 7F. So maximum value will be here, will be 7F in hexadecimal, and if you write it in a decimal, it is a 127. This point is 0. So the corresponding hexadecimal value would be 00. Then whatever the negative points, this most significant bit will be a negative sign. This is sign bit, so it will be 1. So initially when all are 1, this is a -1. When it will become 1111110, it becomes -2. So the numbers in a negative way, you know, it will be a complement of 2's complement of the number. So this number -1 is a 2's complement of this +1. This -2 is a 2's complement of +2, right? So what will be the highest number here? Highest number would be like this: 1 0 0 0 0 0 0 0. So this will be highest negative number, -128. Or in hexadecimal value, you can write it in this way: 0x80. So this hexadecimal value will be 0x80, and in a decimal way we can write it as a -128. So all these numbers at different sample points you have to compute, and then you have to store it in a lookup table. So either you can take a calculator and compute all the values individually, or you can use website to calculate it. You can use also Python program or a MATLAB program, whatever you want. You can compute this and store that value in a lookup table. Right? And all of you know that, you know, you can take sine 0, then sine of 10, sine of 20, like, because we have taken you know, discrete sample point in that way. So you can take more number of points or less number of points depending on how much accuracy you require. If you require more accuracy, you take more sample points. If you are satisfied with a less accuracy, you can take less number of points. So you can either take sine 0, sine 1, sine 2, sine 3, sine 4. But in that case, you know, number of sample points will be 360, because total entire sine wave will have a 360 degree. So in that case, your number of points will be 360 points. If you take sine 0, sine 2, sine 4, sine 6 alternate samples, then number of sample points would be 180. So, and if you take in this way, number of sample points would be 36, because you are taking jump of the 10, sine 0, 10, 20, 30, 40, you reach up to 350. So, you know, you will get less number of sample points. So ultimately all these sample points you have to store in a lookup table. We will see later on whenever we will be discussing digital to analog converter. At that time we will repeat these things again, right? But at present, you know, I discussed the example of reading a push button switches or a dip switches and displaying the values of that switch or hexadecimal equivalent on the 7-segment display. So this program is for that purpose. If you have any doubt in this program, please ask me so that I can answer your, and then if you after that we will end this lecture.